The topic with editorial of Hindu today is data power. Some words of importance in the passage are protagonist. Protagonist virtually refers to the main character, the leader. If a group is doing something, then the leading character is called the protagonist. Suppose there is a general protest against an issue, then the protagonist will be the main character behind the protest. So this is how the meaning of protagonist goes. Taint. A taint is contamination. Contamination of anything. Tainted, contaminated. These are the parallel words. Dispel. Dispel is related to doubt, removal of doubt, disappearance of doubt is dispel. So with these words and their meanings in the background, let us go ahead with the topic. The topic is data power. What is the power of data? Well, this is 21st century and computers or communication systems are being used very extensively. As a result, the data becomes very important, and how the power of that data can play is what to be looked forward in this passage. The subtopic. India cannot allow a nexus between influential tech giants and powerful politicians. So it says that India or the government of India cannot allow nexus between tech giants and powerful politicians to misuse the power carried by the data. They are being alleged over here that the giants, the tech giants, and those politicians who are quite powerful, they make a group, a nexus, and use the data to their end, to their favor. So let us see the passage itself now. An investigative report. Now I have been receiving a lot of queries related to the tone of the passage. This word itself gives the tone of the passage. An investigative report by Wall Street Journal last week has raised troubling questions about whether Facebook, the world's largest social media network, goes easy on hate speech violations. Hate speech violations by BJP leaders so as to be on the right side of the ruling party. Now it says that the Wall Street is the name synonymous to the stock exchange of New York, the oldest one in the world. They publish a journal, a magazine. It is fortnightly magazine. It was fortnightly. Presently, I have no idea if it is weekly or monthly. But earlier it was fortnightly, once 2 weeks. The journal was brought forth every 2 weeks. The Wall Street Journal last week has raised troubling questions, has raised uh, some questions where uh, severe doubts are there, and it relates to whether Facebook, the world's largest social media network, goes easy on hate speech violations by BJP leaders so as to be on the right side of the ruling party. It says that the Facebook is being severely doubted to work hand in hand with BJP leaders so that it remains in a good book of the ruling government, uh, and in that it is promoting hate speech delivered by these BJP leaders. Hate speech refers to something that arouses agony uh, uh, in, in public at large, or a speech that works to divide the whole population on basis of caste, creed, language, or things like that. So, this Wall Street Journal gave a kind of investigative report, and in that it has raised doubts against the tech giant Facebook, uh, the social media platform of the Facebook, uh, which is broadcasting hate speeches delivered by BJP, and the Facebook is keeping it only to remain on the good books of the ruling party. The journal story specifically refers to the case of BJP's Telangana MLA T. Raja Singh, who, it says, has not yet removed from the Facebook despite his controversial posts about Muslims that were found to be in violation of its own rules and also deemed dangerous. So T. Raja Singh, an MLA of BJP Telangana, spoke something against Muslims, and he had some controversial posts over there on the Facebook, and these posts were not removed by the Facebook, although they were in violation of its own rules, its own rules, its own rules. Now here, what does this word "its" refer to? Here it refers to the Facebook, its own rules. Whose rules? Facebook rules. Facebook have made their own rules of deleting the controversial posts, and they have not deleted it. So it refers to Facebook. And those posts are not only in violation of the rules of Facebook, but they are also dangerous. They are also deemed dangerous, taken as to be dangerous. So this is the outcome of the meaning. Facebook is neither following the rules they have made themselves for even for the dangerous posts made by MLAs of BJP only for the purpose of keeping themselves with the, in good books of the government. Okay, somewhere else, Facebook reportedly does remove people with such profile and problematic actions from the platform. Now it says that elsewhere they have done it, but they are not doing it with uh, the people in the government. So this clarifies the allegation. The message seems to be allegative. It is putting on allegation on the Facebook. Let us complete the sentence. Elsewhere, Facebook reportedly does remove people with such profile and problematic actions from the platform. Radio host Alex Jones and Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan are examples. So it is quoting two examples. One a radio host Alex Jones, and National Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. These are two fellows uh, who had poor profiles unleashed on the uh, Facebook, and they made some controversial posts, and these were removed by Facebook, but not in case of T. Raja Singh. In this case, okay, in case of Alex Jones and Louis Farrakhan, in this case, the supposed reason for not acting against Mr. Singh is more problematic than the lack of action itself. So, it gives it, it gives a new twist. The new twist is that the lack of action is more problematic. Facebook is not acting or not removing those posts given by Mr. Singh, Mr. T. Raja Singh, is more problematic uh, rather than uh, the reasons given for not acting against Mr. Singh. So, not acting, reasons for not acting is one thing, and lack of action is another thing. Lack of action is creating more problems. So the journal's report goes on to say that uh, Ms. Ankhi Das, Facebook's public policy director in India, was against taking these posts down, as well as those of three others. Now it says that the uh, journal uh, the the journal says that Ankhi Das, the person responsible for removing such posts, uh, was against taking out these posts. She was not in favor of taking out these posts. She was rather not at all willing to remove the post of Mr. Singh as well as three others. She reportedly told her colleagues that punishing violations by politicians from Mr. Modi's party would affect the company's business prospects in the country. So this was a direct bias in favor of the government. What she says, uh, Ankhi, she here refers to Ankhi Das. She refers to Ankhi Das, and this relationship is based on the text that follows. She reportedly told her colleagues, her subordinates, that uh, if we punish politicians of Mr. Modi's party, then the company's business prospects in the country will fall. So, looking at the business prospects, they must favor or support Mr. Modi's party, that is BJP. So, this gives a list of findings done by Wall Street Journal in the first paragraph. This is what is given over here. Okay. The report has predictably raised political temperature, with the Congress demanding a joint parliamentary probe. So, this issue was taken up by Congress, and they demanded a parliamentary probe into the matter. Some of its leaders have even alleged that this amounts to interfering with Indian elections. So, a lot of states are likely to have elections in coming 6-8 months, and these leaders of opposition, mainly the Congress, they allege that such an inaction from the Facebook could interfere with Indian elections. Congress MP Shahid Tharoor who heads the parliamentary panel on IT, has summoned Facebook. So, Mr. Shashi Tharoor, who belongs to Congress, the opposition, and he is also uh, parliamentary panel of IT. So he has some powers, and using those powers he has summoned Facebook to answer these questions. The BJP, responding to Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's tweet that BJP and RSS control Facebook and WhatsApp in India, has in turn accused the Congress of trying to manipulate data with Facebook's help. So, BJP has a different answer against this doubt, this allegation against Facebook. Facebook is having some allegations. The matter went into the parliament and was brought forward by the Congress, and the request came up for a probe, for investigation, and against all these, BJP responded to Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's tweet. What was Rahul Gandhi's tweet? The tweet was that BJP and RSS control Facebook and WhatsApp in India. Rahul Gandhi, who made a tweet that BJP and RSS control Facebook and WhatsApp in India, to this BJP responded, and in turn, in the response, has accused the Congress of trying to manipulate data with Facebook's help. The BJP in turn accused Congress of manipulating data with the help of Facebook. Now, so Congress is alleging BJP, and BJP is alleging Congress. This is the mishap going on over here. This ought not to end at the usual war of words between two political rivals. This should not to end. What is this? The conflict. This refers to the conflict the cross allegations by BJP to Congress and by Congress to BJP. This refers to the conflict. The word conflict has not at all been mentioned over here in the previous sentences, but then the outcome of the meaning refers to the conflict. So this conflict should not remain merely as war of words. This should not remain merely as war of words between two political rivals. It must go ahead for some action. This is what it indicates. For there is little doubt that this report raises uncomfortable questions about the possibility of an unholy nexus between those with the power to influence millions of people and those in power. Now this sentence raises a big question. The question is that there is now no more doubt that some nexus is there, and that nexus is not holy, it is unholy, it is unparliamentary, it is unholy, and the nexus is between those with the power to influence millions of people. Now, whosoever it may be Congress, it may be BJP, but those in power to influence millions of people and those in power both have made a nexus. Now, this power to influence millions is being carried out by the tech giants like Facebook, and those in power of course BJP. So these two are in nexus. This is clearly made out from the above investigatory report mentioned over here by the Wall Street Journal. So uh, this is what it says. That too in the only country with a billion plus population that is open to business for such internet companies. See, the population is in billions and the whole country is open for their businesses on these on internet companies. Now these companies, social media companies, uh, are uh, a kind of platform, a way for easy communication with so many people in one go. Communication plays an important role for businesses, for advertisements of their products and things like that. So people visit more frequently on these sites, social sites. It is difficult to deny that Protagonist is a powerful social network which till date carries the taint of being the source of the data which the political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica illegally harvested in its quest to sway elections. Now, this is an extension to what has been earlier said. The extension says that the leaders of this powerful social network, they carry the doubt of being the persons providing the data which the political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica illegally collected from them in quest to sway election, to move the public mind in elections. So the allegation is now more clarified. It says that Cambridge Analytica illegally collected some data uh, to move the public mind uh, in an election, and it is highly doubtful, highly skeptical, and it is rather being alleged that the leaders of this social network have been the main villains providing that data, giving that data to Cambridge Analytica. Sure, social media platforms in general, having grown rapidly with little content of their own, have struggled on the question of moderating comments and posts. So this sentence says that social media platforms have grown rapidly and they don't have the contents of their own. They have the contents from general mass, the people, and they they are till date not very successful in moderating the nature of those comments or posts. So it will be a tough time moderating those posts by these social media platforms. It is not in their hand to post the posts. So this is how it becomes a tough task moderating those comments. This, however, is much beyond the question of capability. It is beyond the ability. It is just not possible to moderate the comments. To change, you can either delete it, remove it, but that too will be a tough task. The nature of relationship between Facebook and the government and the rules governing it are now under a cloud. Cloud means doubt, are not transparent. So this is what it says. The nature of relationship is being uh, clouded over here. Is not transparent. The rules governing those social media platforms are also under cloud. Okay, there is a need to dispel misgivings about Facebook lobbying in the corridors of power. So it becomes very important to remove all these doubts about Facebook lobbying for the favor of the government, and some action should be. So this sentence is a suggestive sentence, suggestive in a sense that if fair play is there by the Facebook, and the confidence is there with Facebook, the matter, the working would be easier and happier. Only a full-fledged inquiry can help reveal the truth. So actual truth can come about only with full-fledged inquiry. This is what the suggestion is speaking of. So with these words, I close for today. Please like and subscribe this channel.